Greetings, everybody. Welcome to my class. Today I'm going to be teaching a lesson about how to change an active sentence into a passive sentence. Now, for today's lesson, I'm going to teach three different key ideas that you need to remember. First, changing the active sentence into a passive sentence. Secondly, I'm going to teach you about all of the different things you need to remember in both the active sentence and the passive sentence. And last of all, I'm going to teach you about how to use time complements. Ready to begin? Let's begin. Okay, first, the active sentence. An active sentence occurs now. Okay, so for example, I have the active voice sentence, the boy threw the ball. Now, the boy threw the ball has three different important parts that you need to remember inside the sentence, okay? The subject, the verb, and the object. Now, the subject in the active voice sentence is the boy. The verb is threw, and the object is the ball. Now, all active voice sentences have this sequence: subject, verb, object. Okay? But when we want to take this active voice sentence and change it into a passive voice sentence, we need to rearrange how we're going to write the sentence. How do we do that? Here's how. The passive voice sentence that I have written down here, the ball was thrown by the boy, occurred in the past. Now, each of these different words in the sentence has an important meaning to it. The ball is our subject. Thrown is our past participle verb. By is our preposition, and the boy is agent. Now, backing up just a bit, look again with me, if you will, at the active voice sentence. When I had the subject, verb, object sequence, I said that all active voice sentences have this sequence, and that's true. But when we want to change our active voice sentence into a passive voice sentence, we need to make the necessary changes that I spoke about. First, we need to look at the ball, the object, in our active voice sentence. When we take this object, we're going to change it into the subject in our active voice sentence, and right at the beginning of the sentence. So the ball is now our subject. Next, we need to look at the verb, threw. Now, in a passive voice sentence, it's very important to remember that the tense that's used in an active voice sentence remains the same when it changes into a passive voice. Okay, so threw becomes thrown. But most importantly, we need to remember that we're going to write it down as a past participle verb. Past participle is very easy to understand. I'll explain to you. A past participle means we're using a verb that explains a past action. So a passive sentence explains a past action. So a past participle verb explains a past action. Threw, thrown, eat, ate. Okay, ate is a past participle verb. Thrown is a past participle verb. Last of all, well, second to last, we have our subject, the boy, which is the subject in the active sentence. When we take this subject, we're going to move the subject boy to the end. And we're going to make it into the agent. The agent of a passive voice sentence is the person that's performing the action, because we can't have two subjects in a passive voice sentence. And also, the ball is not performing the action by itself. It needs a living person, a living organism to actually do the action. So the person doing the action in the passive voice sentence is the agent, the boy. Now, last of all, we have a preposition. The preposition word is by. By is always found within a passive voice sentence. We never use them in active voice sentences, ever. Only in passive voice sentences. A preposition describes the action that was committed by the action that was performed by the agent in the passive voice sentence. So the ball was thrown by the boy, the preposition plus the agent, by the boy. The boy performed the action of throwing the ball. Okay, so just to recap, active voice sentences always have an SVO sequence. Passive voice sentences always have S, present participle, past participle verb, preposition, and agent. Okay, and of course we also have another verb here. That's was. Okay, so was indicates already that it occurred in the past. So that's enough to tell us, if we were to look at it for the first time, that it's an action that happened in the past, just by looking at the word was. Okay? So that is a quick description of passive voice sentences and active voice sentences. Now, looking at the time complements, we have the time complement in these two sentences, yesterday. A time complement can be many different words, but they describe time, such as yesterday, today, tomorrow, 2 weeks ago, last week, 2 days ago. Those are all time complements. Okay? 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, or 3 o'clock. Any time, any number listed on the face of a clock is a time complement. So, in our active sentence, we have a subject, we have our active verb, we have our object, and we have our time complement. John took a video yesterday. In our passive voice sentence, we have subject, passive verb, which is also our past participle verb plus the verb was. Past participle verbs taken. We have our agent, we have our preposition, by John, preposition plus agent, and then we have our time complement. Okay, so in these sentences, you can see that John moves to the end of the passive voice sentences, become the agent. The verb took, which is an active verb, changes into a past participle verb, taken, but the tense doesn't change. But we also have the word was, we also have the verb was, and then we have our object, a video. The object becomes our subject. But here, time complements are always going to be at the end, like I've explained. So we can use any type of time complement that describes a moment in time when an action occurred. Okay, so yesterday is that when the action occurred. So I hope everybody today understands the lesson that I taught. And if you have any questions, please send me an email, and I'll help you understand this in a one-on-one tutoring session. Okay? Thank you very much.